Coming up on Valley News Live at 6, what we know about the alleged reenactment of George Floyd's death in a school classroom.
Plus, federal charges filed against the 4 former Minneapolis police officers involved in George Floyd's arrest and death.
And new surveillance video showing what happened to the arm of Paul Bunyan's statue in Bemidji. Valley News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 6.
Why would this tear our community apart? Why wouldn't this be the opportunity to say, you know what, we need to wrap our arms around this and figure out something else?
New tonight at 6, we're hearing from one of the women who first alerted school officials to an alleged reenactment of George Floyd's death that occurred in an elementary school classroom in the Southern Valley.
A Wahpeton 5th grade teacher is now on administrative leave while the school district continues its investigation, with school leaders saying the district does not tolerate any activity that would make students uncomfortable.
Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley spoke with the woman today who breaks down what students say unfolded in the classroom. It's a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
Tracy DesJarlais' 5 children do not attend Wahpeton Public Schools, but as a local business owner in the community, she was approached earlier this week from a distressed mother, telling DesJarlais about a concerning incident in her daughter's classroom.
Even now, it bothers me.
DesJarlais says the young girl later told her about a reenactment of George Floyd's death that the young girl says her teacher had the class take part in, an account we have edited down for time's sake.
She said, we're going to do this really quick. And she said, okay, everybody put your hands behind your back. And then she said, can you breathe? And then finally we had to get up and put our hands around our throats, squeeze, see if we could talk, breathe, and check our own pulse. Could we breathe?
DesJarlais says she's since spoken to Wahpeton School Superintendent Rick Jacobson, who she says told her when interviewed, all 13 students in the classroom that day gave similar, if not the exact same account. Something Jacobson also confirmed with me today in this email. An email that also clarifies the district's first communication to parents, which described the incident as a, quote, breathing exercise.
So when you sent that email out, you effectively made me a liar. And then you turned and made those kids liars too. You made it sound as if it didn't happen.
A follow-up email to parents from Jacobson later apologized, stating if people felt that explanation was, quote, vanilla and vague, that truly was not the intent. DesJarlais says an explanation or reasoning for the reenactment was never provided to students, but she says she doesn't want the teacher fired or even on administrative leave.
There's professional development that needs to happen, not just for her, but for the school itself.
Saying now is the time to learn from mistakes and be better, not only for today's students, but for the future of the community. In Wahpeton, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Superintendent Jacobson says he plans to hold a news conference Monday afternoon to provide more details. You'll be able to watch it live on our VNL News app as well as our Facebook page. And if you need help uncovering an issue, call the Whistleblower Hotline. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 701-237-6576 and leave your tip.
A scary situation at a Fargo middle school today. A student told an administrator that someone brought a gun to school. The district says it happened at Carl Ben Eielson. The school resource officer searched the student and found an unloaded BB pistol. They did not find BBs or any other form of ammunition. The district says no threats were made to students or staff and no one was hurt. The student has been suspended.
What do they say? Happy mom, happy family, happy life, something like that. Well, Mother's Day weekend is off to a pretty good start in the weather. Hutch is here to update tonight's conditions. Hutch?
Well, a lot of happy faces out there as we have not much wind, a lot of sunshine, and temperatures below average, but still pretty pleasant out there. We are seeing 55 to 60 in most locations. It is a little cooler in central Minnesota for places like Bemidji, Park Rapids, and up toward Baudette. The satellite and radar very quiet in our area, but out to the west, clouds are building and showers are developing. They're heading our way for the weekend. More on that in a moment. Right now, get out and enjoy the quiet weather while it lasts. This evening will be cool, so bring along that jacket. We'll be in the 40s for those post-sunset hours. Some chilly 30s, even some 20s in store for the overnight forecast, and beneficial rain for the drought is expected through the weekend and into Sunday. I'll have details on when and where we expect the biggest impacts from the rain this Mother's Day weekend in a few minutes.
All right, keep us posted. Thanks.
The man accused of killing a Moorhead taxi driver Wednesday morning has now been charged. Willie Sparkman Jr. has been charged with conspiracy to commit aggravated robbery, attempted aggravated robbery, and second-degree murder in the death of Abdullahi Mohammed Abdullahi. Court documents say Sparkman and a juvenile female were trying to rob the taxi driver for rent money after two other robberies in Fargo earlier that evening. Sparkman told police he didn't mean to kill Abdullahi.
A federal grand jury has indicted the 4 former Minneapolis police officers involved in George Floyd's arrest and death. They are accused of willfully violating Floyd's constitutional rights as he was restrained face down on the pavement and gasping for air. The 3-count indictment names Derek Chauvin, Thomas Lane, Jay Kuhn, and Tu Thao. Chauvin is charged with violating Floyd's right to be free from unreasonable seizure and unreasonable force by a police officer.
Civil rights, meaning that they interfered with his constitutional rights. Here, the right to be free from an unreasonable seizure, which also involves the right to be free from an unreasonable use of force.
All 4 also face charges of failure to provide Floyd with medical care. Meanwhile, Derek Chauvin also faces a separate indictment for allegedly kneeling on the neck and upper back of a 14-year-old boy during an arrest in 2017. The indictment alleges that Chauvin willfully deprived a Minneapolis resident who was 14 at the time of his constitutional right to be free from the use of unreasonable force by a police officer. Today, activists in St. Paul called for police reform. The Minnesota chapter on the Council of America-Islamic Relations was joined by local leaders who said they are demanding meaningful police legislation. They say the state isn't going forward with elements of bills including qualified immunity, adding it's important for Minnesota to advance police reforms.
The first phase of ending COVID-19 restrictions in Minnesota is now in effect. There are no limits for outdoor dining, events, and other get-togethers. Bars and restaurants can also stay open later than 11 p.m. Health officials say that nearly 60% of the state's eligible population has gotten at least one vaccine dose. The mask mandate will end as soon as 70% of the eligible population has gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. It will end on July 1st, even if that does not happen. Clay County Public Health has announced a walk-in clinic that will take place next Thursday at the Young Comp Center. They're offering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for people 18 years or older. It will run from 10 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. You can also register on the Clay County Public Health website. And if you're looking for options to get the vaccine, you can use our VNL vaccine tracker. It's on the home page of our website. Or you can open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen and then tap the link that pops up.
As crews prepare to repair an iconic statue in Bemidji, there's more surveillance video of people climbing on Paul Bunyan, and it shows the moment his arm starts to break. You can see several people climbing and hanging from his arms. Then the concrete gives way and one of the suspects falls to the ground. If you have any information about the people in this video, contact Crime Stoppers of Minnesota at their website, or you can call toll-free 1-800-222-TIPS. If information leads to an arrest, you can qualify for a $1,000 reward.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, work continues on repurposing the former Sam's Club building in Moorhead.
Teens and 20s to begin our day, and this was the morning moonrise. We'll have details on some showers in your weekend outlook coming up right after this.